Hi everyone, as we journey towards Easter, we approach the second week of Lent. And I was reading this morning in the 15th chapter of John and wanted to share a couple of thoughts with you. Beginning in verse 12, "This is my commandment," Jesus says, "that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." Jesus goes on to say, "You are my friends if you do what I command you." And then he turns to them and says something very interesting. He begins to tear down barriers and walls and boundaries. And he says, "I do not call you servants any longer, because the servant does not know what the master is doing. But I have called you friends, because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father." Jesus is very intentional here to say, look, everything that God has revealed to me, I've shown you. I've come and lived with you. I've shown you how to worship God both privately and publicly. I've shown you God's great power and His compassion, that He wants to heal people from all sorts of infirmities. I've shown you the power that God has even over death. I've shown you the great mercy that God has in terms of forgiveness and freeing people from their past. And now Jesus says, you know what I know. And here's the deal. I call you friends, because friends will follow in my footsteps. Friends will do the things that I've done. Friends will follow through in what I've started. For us today, it is not simply enough to know in our heads what Jesus has said and has done. The Bible tells us that knowledge puffs up. It is not the knowledge that Jesus is looking for. It is the doing and following through on that knowledge. It is to know how Jesus lived his life and to live ours in a very similar way. You see, I'm afraid at times in our own lives we think that discipleship is about how much we can memorize of the Bible, or how much we can study and discuss with others. And when true discipleship, that is just the beginning. For that must manifest itself in actions that take place outside of our church walls, outside of our cozy and comfy atmospheres where we kind of all look and act the same. True discipleship is about leaving church and understanding that we are missionaries. It may be missionaries to the 4 square walls in our house or our place of employment, but we are all sent forth and given a mission, and that is to share God's love. St. Francis would say, preach the gospel at all times, and if necessary, use words. And that is what we do. We approach life as Jesus did. We approach people as Jesus did, which means we're a people of forgiveness. We're a people that have great generosity. We have people who are committed and have values that are unshakable. And it is upon those things that Jesus will build his kingdom through us, his friends. I wonder if during Lent this is a time to reassess our commitment to the mission that Jesus has given us. And if we have been wavering in either understanding his commandments or doing them, we would redouble our efforts and our commitment to do just that. For we have been called his friends. What a great privilege and what a tremendous responsibility.